Hello kids, today we are going to learn a new lesson number 13, our universe. Our universe. In this lesson, we shall study the moon and its surface. The moon and its surface, tides and eclipses, solar and lunar. Tides and eclipses. In eclipses, solar eclipses and lunar eclipses. Artificial satellites and their uses. In this lesson, we are going to study the moon and its surface, tides and eclipses. In eclipses, solar and lunar. Next, artificial satellites and their uses. All these points we are going to learn in this lesson. So, let us see here. A dark night looks beautiful when it is lit by moonlight. When it is light by moonlight, does not it? A dark night looks beautiful when it is light by moonlight. When it is light by moonlight, doesn't it? Yes, it is looks beautiful when it's light by moonlight. The sun, the moon, and the earth attract one another by a natural force called the force of gravity or gravitational force. This force of attraction between the two bodies depend upon the distance between them. It means closer the two bodies, greater is the force of attraction. The sun, the moon, and the earth attract one another by a natural force. That force is called the force of gravity or gravitational force. This force of attraction, gravitational force of attraction between two bodies depends upon the distance between them. It means closer the two bodies, greater is the force of attraction. Gravitational force depends upon the distance between them, and it means closer two bodies have the greater force of attraction. Next, see, horse. You must have observed the night sky quite often. You must have observed the night sky. Question A. Which is the brightest object in the night sky? Which is the brightest object in the night sky? Moon. B. Why are there countless stars seen on the night and not so many seen on the other night? Why are there countless stars seen on the some night and not so many stars are in the other night? This question answer we explain when we are going to solve the exercise. Okay, now we'll just tell you what are countless stars. We'll write when we solve the exercise, but I'll explain you now. Why are there countless stars seen on some night and not many seen on the other nights? Because visibility of stars depend on the clouds present in the sky. On a clear night, you can see many stars. Visibility of stars depend on the clouds present in the sky. Understood now? Okay. Now next one. Next is surface of the moon. What is the next? Surface of the moon. The moon is the Earth's only one natural satellite and is also the heavenly bodies closest to us. Though it shines bright in the sky, it does not have light of its own but reflects that of the sun. The moon is Earth's natural satellite and is also heavenly bodies closest to the us means moon. It shines brightly in the sky. It does not have light from its own, but it reflects that of the sun's light. The surface of the moon appears rough because of the big holes called the craters, flat plain mountains and the valleys present on it. Unlike the earth, the moon lacks atmosphere. It also does not have liquid water on its surface. Moreover, the surface temperature on the moon extreme. All these conditions indicate that no life exists on the moon. The climate of the moon, the surface of the moon appears rough because of big holes called the craters, flat plain mountains, valleys present on it. Unlike the earth, the moon lacks of an atmosphere. It also does not have a liquid on its surface. Moreover, the surface temperature on the moon are extreme. All these conditions indicate that no life can exist on the moon. Understood, my kids, why the life not exist on the moon? Next, tides and eclipses. Tides and eclipses are two phenomena caused by the moon's effect on the earth. Tides and eclipses are two phenomena caused by the moon's effect on the earth. Tides, the combined effect of the gravitational force of the sun and the moon, caused the water in the oceans to rise in the certain region of the earth and fall in the other region. Sea water comes with a force to the shore as its level rises during the high tide. On the other hand, during the low tide, it recedes from the shore, exposing many rocks at the shore. Tides, the combined effect of gravitational force of the sun and the moon. The combined effect of the gravitational force of the sun and the moon caused the water in the oceans to rise in certain regions of the earth and fall in the other regions. Sea waters come with a force on this seashore as its level rise during a high tide. On the other hand, during a low tide, it recedes from the shore, exposing many rocks at the shore. Understood, no kids? What is tide and how it's happened? Okay, a high tide is formed when the water on the side of the earth facing the moon is pulled towards the moon. Another high tide is formed on the opposite side of the earth, which occurs due to the earth's movement. The water level in the region between the two high tides is low. This is known as low tide. High tide and low tide, two types of tides are there. A high tide is formed. A high tide is formed when the water on the side of the earth facing the moon and is pulled towards the moon. Another high tide is formed on the opposite side of the earth, which occurs due to the earth's movement. The water level in the region between the two high tides is low. This is called the low tide. Earth. High tide. High tide is formed when the water on the side of the earth facing the moon is pulled towards the moon. And the high tide is formed on the opposite side of the earth, which is occurred due to the earth's movement. Low tide water level is risen between the two high tides. Two high tides is a low tide, is known as the low tides. Understood, my kids? Okay. Next one, shadows and eclipses. Shadows and eclipses. Shadows are dark imprints of an opaque object, an object that is not a transparent, that comes between a source of light and surface on the to which the shadow falls. When this phenomenon happen in this universe, we call it an eclipse. What is eclipse? Formation of shadow. Shadow, look in this picture, kids. Shadow are dark imprints of an opaque object. Shadow, it is the shadow of the globe, means earth. Opaque object is an object that not transparent. Opaque object is an object that is not a transparent, that come between a source of light, that come between the source of light and the surface on to which the shadow falls. It is the candle is the source of light, and this one is the shadow falls. Opaque object that comes between the source of light and the surface on which the shadow falls. When this phenomenon happens in the universe, we can call it an eclipse. We can call it an eclipse. Understood, my kids? The earth and the moon are in constant motion around the sun. The solar eclipse occurs when the moon comes in between the sun and the earth, while the lunar eclipse occurs when the earth comes in between the sun and the moon. Look in this diagram, kids. The earth and the moon. The earth and the moon are in constant motion around the sun. Okay? The solar eclipse occurs when the moon comes in between the sun and the earth. When the moon comes in between the sun and the earth, it is the sun and it is the earth. The moon comes between the sun and the earth. Understood now? When solar eclipse occur, the lunar eclipse occur. While the lunar eclipse occur, the earth comes in between the sun and the moon. Sun and the moon. Sun and the moon. Outside is their moon here. While the lunar eclipse occur, when the earth comes between the sun and the moon. Understood, the kids? When the solar eclipse occur and lunar eclipse occur. Okay, now we'll see solar eclipse. As the moon revolves around the earth, there come a point when it come at the position between the sun and the earth. As a result, the moon blocks the sun's light from the following on the region of the earth. For the people in these regions, the region sun appears to be blocked by the moon. For some times, this is called the solar eclipse. A total solar eclipse occurs when the sun cannot be seen at all, while a particular solar eclipse occurs when only a part of it is visible. A solar eclipse can last around 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Solar eclipse. As the moon revolves around the earth, okay, it is the earth, sun and moon. Here moon is in between the sun and the earth. As the sun revolves around the earth, there comes a point when it comes at the position between the sun and the earth. As a result, the moon blocks sunlight. The moon blocks the sunlight from following sunlight following on the certain region of the earth. For the people in this region, the sun appears to be blocked. For the people in this region on the earth, the sun appears to be blocked for some time. This is called the solar eclipse. A total solar eclipse occurs when the sun cannot be seen at all, while a particular solar eclipse occurs. When only a part of it is visible, a solar eclipse can last around 7 minutes 30 seconds. Understood, my kids? What is solar eclipse and how it occurs? Next, lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse occurs when the earth comes in between the sun and the moon. This happens only on the full moon night, but not every full moon night. A lunar eclipse occurs when the earth in between the sun and the moon, as the moon revolves around the earth. Now, moon is where it is out of the moon, out of the earth. In solar eclipse, it is in between the sun and earth. Now, earth is in between the sun and moon. When solar eclipse occurs, moon is between the sun and the earth. Here, moon is outside and the earth is between the sun and the moon. Understood, no kids? Here, moon is outside. Moon is outside. Who is in between the sun and moon? Earth. In between place, middle place, earth is there. A lunar eclipse occurs when the earth comes in between the sun and moon. In between the sun and moon. This happens only on a full night, but not on every full night. Understood, my kids? Lunar eclipse occurs on full night, but not every full night time. During lunar eclipse, the earth casts its shadow on the moon. Because of this, either the entire visible surface of the moon gets shadowed, total lunar eclipse, or a part of it gets a shadowed, partial lunar eclipse. A total lunar eclipse can last up to around 1 hour 45 minutes. At the end of the eclipse, the moon becomes visible as it is receives sunlight. During the lunar eclipse, the earth casts its shadow on the moon. Because of this, either the entire visible surface of the moon gets shadowed, or a part of it gets shadowed. Total lunar eclipse can last up around 1 hour 45 minutes. At the end of the eclipse, the moon becomes visible at the receive sunlight. Understood, my kids? How lunar eclipse occur? Now we are going to see the artificial satellites and their importance. Moon is the natural satellite. Understood, no? Moon is the Earth's natural satellite. Here we are going to learn artificial satellites and their importance. A heavenly body that orbits the Earth or any other planets in the space is called the satellite. Satellites may be natural like a moon or a man-made. Artificial satellites are launched in space for a various purpose, whether satellites orbit the Earth and they give us useful information about the atmosphere. They capture images of the clouds, ill effects of the pollutions, sand, dust, storms, boundaries of oceans, currents, etc., which help us greatly in the weather forecast and so on. Artificial satellites are man-made satellites. They are also heavenly body that orbits the earth. Earth or any other planet in space called the satellite. Satellite may be natural and man-made. Natural satellites, example, moon. Man-made satellites are called artificial satellites and are launched in space. Artificial satellites are launched in space for various purposes. Weather satellites orbit the earth and gives us information about the atmosphere. They capture images of clouds, ill effects of pollution, sand and dust storms, boundaries of ocean currents, etc., which help greatly in weather forecast and so on. Understood, my kids? What is the function of artificial satellites? How they are helpful to us? One of the most important uses of satellite is communication. Communication satellites help in sending messages across countries. Televisions and radio programs can be relayed thousands of miles away because of artificial satellites. Talking on the phone, surfing the entire internet, and watching live cricket matches have become possible only because of the communication satellite. Remote sensing satellites are also artificial satellites which gives us valuable information about the earth and its water bodies. They are particularly helpful in advising farmers, miners and fishermen. One of the most important uses of satellite is communication. Communication satellites help in sending messages across the country, across the world, whole world. Televisions, radio programs can relay thousands of miles away because of the artificial satellites. Talking on phones, mobiles, surfing the internet and watching live cricket. Surfing the internet, watching live cricket matches have become possible only because of the communication satellite. Remote sensing satellites are also artificial satellites which gives us valuable information about the earth and its water bodies. They are particularly helpful in advising the farmers, miners and fishermen. These satellites are very useful for advising farmers, miners and the fishermen. Understood, my kids? Do you know the Sputnik 1, the world's first artificial satellite, was launched on 4th October 1957 and orbited the Earth for about 6 months. The Sputnik 1, the world's first artificial satellite, was launched on 4th October 1957 and orbited the Earth for about 6 months. Understood now? Okay, here our lesson over. Today's your homework is read the lesson carefully, learn the new words, by that words and write down in your notebook. Thank you for watching the video.